Falling for a married person? These 5 truths will save you. They tell you their marriage is over. They say they've never felt this way before. They promise they're going to leave their spouse. You believe them because you want to believe them, but you're not in a relationship, you're in a fantasy. And that fantasy is about to destroy your life. Here are 5 truths about affairs with married people that no one wants to hear, but everyone needs to know. These aren't opinions. These are statistical truths, psychological realities, and patterns that repeat across millions of affairs. Truth 1. They're almost certainly not going to leave their spouse. The first harsh truth, statistically, they're not leaving their spouse for you. Only 3 to 5% of affairs end with the cheater leaving their marriage for the affair partner. The rest stay married or end both relationships. When someone tells you, "I'll leave them," what they mean is, "I want to keep you available while maintaining my life." They're feeding you hope to keep you invested while they maintain their comfortable situation. Look at the numbers. Only 3 to 5% of people leave their spouse for the affair partner. Of those who do leave, 75% of those relationships fail within the first year. You're betting on a 3% chance that becomes a 0.75% chance of lasting relationship. You have better odds at a casino than in this situation. You're investing in a fantasy with near zero probability of success. Watch what "I'll leave" actually means. They say they'll leave soon, or when the time is right, or after this event. Months or years pass, they're still married. The timeline keeps moving. After the holidays, after tax season, when finances stabilize, every milestone that was supposed to trigger leaving creates a new excuse to stay. "I'll leave" means I want you to stay while I stay married. Notice what they're really telling you about their marriage. They paint their spouse as terrible to justify the affair. They tell you the marriage is basically over, or they're just roommates. But they're still having sex with their spouse, going on family vacations, presenting as a happy couple publicly. Cheaters lie about their marriage to make you comfortable being the affair partner. If the marriage was truly over, they'd be divorced, not having an affair. Understand what they're actually choosing. They have a home, shared finances, children, social status, routine. Leaving means disrupting everything, financially, socially, practically. You're exciting, but you're not worth destroying their comfortable life. When it comes down to choosing, they choose what's familiar and secure. Affairs are about excitement, not commitment. When reality hits, they retreat to stability. Why are you missing this? You want to believe you're special enough to make them leave. You interpret their words as promises rather than manipulation. You focus on the 3% success stories and ignore the 97% failures. You're clinging to hope because accepting reality means accepting you're being used. For 2 years, David told Emily he was leaving his wife. Just after the holidays. Then it was after tax season when finances settle. Then after my daughter's wedding. 2 years of soon. Emily waited, believing every promise. She turned down other relationships because she was taken by a married man who went home to his wife every night. Finally, Emily gave David an ultimatum. "Leave by the end of the month or I'm done." David chose his wife. In one day, Emily learned what 2 years should have taught her. David was never leaving. The promises had been lies to keep Emily available as his escape from reality. Emily had wasted 2 years on a man who was never going to choose her. And 97% of people in affairs learn this same painful lesson. So accept the statistical reality. You're almost certainly wasting your time. Judge actions, not words. Are they filing for divorce or just talking about it? Set a deadline. If you're not separated and filing within 60 days, I'm gone, and mean it. Watch what happens. Most will choose to stay married rather than lose you. Truth 2. You're seeing a performance, not the real person. The person you're falling for isn't real. They're a fantasy version performing for you. Affairs exist in controlled, idealized circumstances, secret meetings, intense chemistry, no real-world problems. You don't see them stressed about bills, dealing with sick kids, exhausted from work, or navigating daily life's unglamorous realities. You see the highlight reel. Their spouse sees the whole person, including the parts you'd find intolerable if you had to live with them. You see the highlight reel. Understand the fantasy bubble. You meet for exciting secret encounters, romantic dates, intense sexual connection. No mundane responsibilities, no boring routines, no real-life stress together. The relationship exists outside reality. It's all passion, no partnership. The intensity you feel isn't from deep compatibility. It's from lack of real-world constraints. Chemistry in controlled fantasy situations doesn't predict compatibility in actual life. Notice they're performing their best self. They show you the exciting, attentive, passionate version of themselves. They're on their best behavior because they see you limited hours per week. They don't bring their problems, stress, bad moods to affair time. That's what they save for their spouse. You get date version. Their spouse gets everyday reality version. Anyone can be charming for a few hours a week. Living together reveals true character. Recognize what you don't know. Their spouse knows their worst qualities, how they handle conflict, money, stress, failure. You only know their curated version. The flaws that make their spouse miserable, you haven't experienced those yet. If they're lying to and betraying their spouse, they're capable of doing worse to you. See how secrecy creates false intimacy. Sharing a secret creates intense bonding, but it's not the same as genuine intimacy. The us against the world feeling is manufactured by the taboo, not by deep connection. Remove the secrecy and excitement, and often there's nothing substantial underneath. Relationships that start as affairs and become legitimate often crumble because the excitement was the relationship. When affairs become actual relationships, the magic disappears and you're left with a cheater. Why are you missing this? The intensity feels like love when it's actually just affair fog. You're comparing their fantasy performance to your boring real life. You think the person you see is who they really are, but you're in love with a persona, not a person. For a year, Sarah believed she knew everything about Marcus. He was thoughtful, romantic, attentive, everything her own marriage lacked. Marcus was going to leave his wife and be with Sarah. Then, Marcus's wife found out and filed for divorce. Suddenly, Sarah got what she wanted. Marcus, full-time. Within 3 months, Sarah discovered who Marcus really was. He was terrible with money, constantly broke despite good income. He was emotionally unavailable when dealing with stress from the divorce. He was critical and demanding about household tasks. He had a temper Sarah had never seen. He stopped being romantic because he didn't need to win her anymore. Sarah realized the Marcus she'd fallen for had been a performance, a fantasy version that could only exist in affair circumstances. The real Marcus, the one his wife had lived with, was someone Sarah couldn't stand. So recognize you're seeing a performance. This isn't who they are day to day. Ask yourself if you'd want them full-time. Could you handle their worst qualities 24/7? Remember, their spouse knows them better. The person who lives with them knows what you don't. Understand intensity isn't intimacy. Affair fog creates false feelings.
Truth 3. If they'll cheat with you, they'll cheat on you. The third brutal truth, the person who cheats with you will cheat on you. Character doesn't change because you became the official partner instead of the side piece. If they could lie to their spouse, betray their vows, deceive their children, and maintain a double life, they can and will do the same to you. You're not special. You're not different. You're just next. Look at the statistics. 75% of people who cheat will cheat again. Infidelity has a 75% recurrence rate. People who cheat with one partner typically cheat on that partner. Cheating establishes it as an available option in their behavioral toolkit. Past behavior is the strongest predictor of future behavior. You're setting yourself up to be the next person cheated on. You're witnessing their character. They're showing you they can lie convincingly. They can compartmentalize betrayal without apparent guilt. They can look their spouse in the eye and deceive them. They can do that to you, too. The person who sneaks around with you will sneak around on you. Character is consistent. They're showing you who they are. Understand what "you're different" really means. They told their spouse they'd never cheat. They're telling you this has never happened before, and you're special. They'll tell the next affair partner the same thing about you. Cheaters use the same script with every partner. You're not uniquely special. You're just the current affair partner. See how the affair becomes the relationship model. If your relationship started with cheating, cheating is part of your foundation. You learn to be together through lies, betrayal, and deception. That pattern doesn't magically become honesty and loyalty. Relationships built on betrayal have betrayal coded into their DNA. How it starts is often how it continues. Why are you missing this? You think you're special enough to make them want to be faithful. You believe their affair with you was situational, not character-based. You rationalize that they cheated because their marriage was bad, not because they're a cheater. But you're making excuses because accepting they're a cheater means accepting your future. Jessica proudly told friends she'd won. Her affair partner, Tom, had left his wife for her. They got married. Jessica believed she was different from Tom's ex-wife, special enough to make Tom faithful. 3 years later, Jessica found texts between Tom and a coworker. Tom was having an affair. Jessica was devastated. How could you, after everything we went through to be together? Tom shrugged. You knew who I was when we met. I was cheating with you. Jessica realized her mistake. Tom hadn't changed. He'd shown her exactly who he was, someone capable of infidelity. Jessica just thought she'd be the exception. She wasn't. Tom was a cheater before he met Jessica. He was a cheater when he cheated with Jessica, and he was a cheater when he cheated on Jessica. So believe their actions, not their words. They've shown you they can cheat. Except you're not special enough to change them. Nobody is. Recognize the 75% recurrence rate applies to you. Statistics don't care about feelings. Understand character is consistent. Who they are with their spouse is who they'll be with you. If this video is giving you the hard truth you need to hear, hit that subscribe button for more honest relationship content. Now let's talk about the next truth. Truth 4, you're participating in destroying a family. The fourth truth you need to face, you're not just involved in a romance, you're actively participating in destroying a family. There are real victims, a betrayed spouse who trusted this person, children whose lives will be devastated, extended families torn apart. You're part of inflicting trauma that will affect multiple people for years or decades. The guilt stays with you. Face who you're hurting. The spouse isn't the villain the cheater describes. They're a real human being whose trust is being violated. They're being deceived daily by the person they love and trust. No one deserves to be betrayed, regardless of marriage problems. You're actively harming an innocent person. If they have children, understand what you're doing. You're helping destroy their stable family. Children of affairs experience trauma, trust issues, relationship models based on betrayal. The damage affects them long-term, into adulthood and their own relationships. Kids don't just get over it. They carry the damage. You're participating in traumatizing children. Recognize the scope of destruction. When discovered, and they're almost always discovered, the pain is immense. The betrayed spouse experiences trauma comparable to PTSD. Extended families are torn apart, friendships, in-laws, community. Your affair creates ripple effects of pain through multiple lives. This isn't just between three adults, it's a bomb going off in multiple lives. Understand the guilt becomes unbearable. Many affair partners report crushing guilt once they see the damage. You can't unknow that you hurt innocent people. The relationship built on others' pain is poisoned by that foundation. Relationships that start by destroying families are haunted by that beginning. The guilt doesn't fade, it compounds. Why are you missing this? You demonize the spouse to feel better about the affair. You tell yourself their marriage was over anyway. You focus on your feelings and ignore the human cost. But minimizing victims is how people justify participation in harm. Amanda thought she and Ryan were soulmates. Ryan's wife Jennifer was described as cold and controlling. The affair was justified. They were meant to be together. Then Jennifer discovered the affair. Ryan confessed everything. Amanda received an email from Jennifer. Photos of Jennifer and Ryan's wedding, their kids, family vacations. You helped destroy our family. My children cry themselves to sleep asking why Daddy doesn't love us anymore. My 8-year-old blames herself. You did this. Amanda saw for the first time the real human cost. Jennifer wasn't a villain. She was a devastated woman whose life had been destroyed. The kids weren't abstract. They were real children traumatized by their father's betrayal and Amanda's participation in it. Amanda couldn't eat or sleep. The guilt was crushing. She'd helped destroy a family. That guilt poisoned her relationship with Ryan and haunted her years later. So face the reality of who you're hurting. There are real victims. Stop minimizing the damage. You're participating in creating trauma. Consider the children. Can you live with knowing you helped hurt kids? Accept the moral weight. This will stay with you regardless of outcome.
Truth 5. This will end in heartbreak, not happily ever after. The final truth. This situation has essentially no happy endings. Either they stay married and you've wasted years as the secret side piece, or they leave their spouse and your relationship fails at a 75% rate, or the affair is discovered and everyone involved experiences devastating trauma. The fantasy doesn't survive reality. The statistical odds are overwhelmingly against you. Look at the math. 97% don't leave their spouse for a affair partner. Of the 3% who do, 75% of those relationships fail. Your odds of lasting happiness, less than 1%. You're fighting mathematical reality, not just circumstances. Hope doesn't overcome statistics. The most common outcome, you waste years waiting. Most affairs end with the married person staying married. You spend months or years as the secret, waiting for promises that never materialize. You miss opportunities for legitimate relationships because you're taken by someone who isn't yours. Your time, youth, and opportunities are being consumed by a dead-end situation. If they leave, understand what usually happens. The 3% who leave find the fantasy can't survive reality. Financial stress of divorce, guilt, family pressure, loss of respect from others. You become associated with the worst period of their life. The foundation is toxic. Lies, betrayal, destroyed families. Relationships can't thrive on that. If discovered, recognize the likely outcome. When discovered, betrayed spouse is traumatized. Married person often chooses to stay and repair marriage. You're vilified, exposed, humiliated, often publicly. Discovery scenarios almost never end with affair partners riding into the sunset. The affair partner is usually the one who loses everything. Why are you missing this? You're focused on the fantasy outcome, ignoring the statistical realities. You think your situation is different or special. You're already invested, so you're susceptible to sunk cost fallacy. But hope is powerful enough to override logic until reality hits. For 4 years, Nicole waited for Craig to leave his wife. 4 years of secret meetings, broken promises, holidays alone while he was with his family. Nicole turned down marriage proposals from available men because she was waiting for Craig. At 42, Nicole finally gave up. Craig had never intended to leave. Nicole had wasted her late 30s, her best years, for finding a partner and starting a family on a man who was never going to choose her. Nicole was now 42, single, childless, having wasted 4 years. Craig was still married, unaffected by Nicole's wasted time. Nicole looked at what the affair had cost her. Years of her life, legitimate relationship opportunities, her chance at marriage and children. The affair had delivered exactly what statistics predicted: heartbreak, wasted time, and no happy ending. So face the statistical reality. This almost certainly ends badly. Calculate what you're losing: time, opportunities, self-respect, peace of mind. Accept that you can't beat the odds. Statistics don't care how special you feel. Walk away before more damage is done. Every day you stay increases the eventual pain. If you're wondering whether what you're feeling is genuine love or something more destructive, watch our video on 5 signs it's obsession, not love. Understanding the difference between healthy love and toxic obsession will give you critical clarity about your situation. Links in the description. If you're falling for a married person or you're already involved, these 5 truths are what you need to accept. They're almost certainly not leaving their spouse. You're falling for a fantasy performance, not a real person. If they cheat with you, they'll cheat on you. You're helping destroy a family, and that guilt will haunt you. And this will end in heartbreak, not happily ever after. The statistics are overwhelming. The reality is brutal. The odds are against you. You're in a situation with near zero chance of happiness and near certain chance of devastating pain. Ask yourself honestly, is this worth it? Is wasting your time, damaging your character, hurting innocent people, and gambling on less than 1% odds of success worth the fantasy you're living in? You know the answer. You've always known the answer. Walk away before you cause more damage and experience more pain. You deserve someone who is actually available, who can build a real life with you, who doesn't require secrecy and lies. Stop settling for crumbs from someone else's table. Stop being someone's escape from reality. Walk away and find someone who can give you all of themselves, not just the secret moments. If this video gave you the hard truth you needed to hear, subscribe for more honest relationship content that tells you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. If you've been involved with a married person and got out, share your story in the comments. Your experience might save someone from making the same mistake. You're worth more than being someone's secret. You're worth more than being the person they lie to their spouse to see. You're worth more than wasting your best years waiting for someone who's statistically unlikely to ever choose you. Walk away, heal, and find someone who can love you openly, honestly, and completely. Don't settle for an affair. You deserve an actual relationship with someone who's actually available to give you one.